format because I think, what time do we end today? 20?
6:20?
6:20?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we could do both today. And the other one, I want to start a review, so because it's a little cold. And then, okay, let's come over here and start again. Do I have a pencil? Here we go. Let's start again. There we go. And a little bit more. So it says, now we have this pasuk. No, over ba ish. Now, my brilliant analysis said to me that ish is singular, velo yashiv adam sham. And then I would have thought that adam maybe is plural. So then he's going to come over here to number aleph, and he's going to say eretz lo over, that phrase, the first part. First of all, it says Erev is, okay, eretz lo over, besod malchus. So eretz yad lashem malchus. So hevdel bein ish la adam. So I threw one out, but I don't think he's going to say that. Havarach be'ish, that was the ish. Yeshiva ba'adam, number daled, adam leva. So I'm still using my other glasses broke. My old glasses broke, and now I'm back to these again. I still got to learn how to use them. So he says, Adam levarhu, Adam's on the outside. That part I could probably figure it out. But let's see, Adam refers to their anpin over there. Now let's read Eretz lo over besod malchus. He says, he named a Sifra that's the use of a varakama pasuk, so we'll explain the pasuk over here. She'amar b'vaya hamolech osana b'midbar. Be'eretz lo over ba ish velo yashev adam sham. Okay, that pasuk. Besod dikna de'erkanpin. So this is really, what's it talking about, this place? It's talking about the dikna of Erich Adpin, v'yesh la'ayin heichon nirmaz inyan zecha b'lashon of pasuk. So we have to say where we got this idea from. Now, we'll just dive right into this. He said, v'hina v'ferish read saruk, he said, v'bir kan lefidarko la'el. The Iri kan b'yud gimel tikuni dikna shall ratio lo isyada. So he doesn't mind going right up to the top. And he says that this idea is andermas b'milas eretz. Eretz really refers to eretz, the ratio to lo isyada. Shehi b'chinas malchus k'nayda v'zechel v'zechel l'shona. So exactly how the ratio to lo isyada comes about, because he says it doesn't say exactly yet. V'im tomer heichon nirmaz ratio zu the lo isyada b'pasuk hazechel v'lochav avabo ish v'yesh loma dechsev eretz lo avor, that phrase. Okay, let's say v'haydecha b'malchus shal adam kadmon. That's what he's talking about. He says the ratio to lo isyada is the malchus to adam kadmon, shehu ratio to lo isyada. So there's a little aleph there. We'll pick it up in a sec. Let me get this working here. So he says, okay. So he says, ka'amar ad kan ka'amar, etc. Of a raton lo b'shachar papasuk ari b'dikna shal eretz elyona. What's the eretz elyona? Shehir b'malchus of adam kadmon hanav reish lo isyada v'chein hi b'zohar v'kiyah. So we have that over there in parts of Rekiah. Those are two places that we see this concept. Let's just look over here where we had the phrase here. He says it's the malchus shal adam kadmon. He has this phrase. He says ve'inyan zecha b'malchus to adam kadmon reish lo do isyada v'chaydach b'rosh atek yomim. So he says that when he says that is what the reish lo do isyada is. It's the part that we don't know, the gar of Adam Kadmon. Excuse me, Atek Yamin. Mevucha began be'etz chaim, so also explain over there, gam ha-malchus atzmad Adam Kadmon, shehi reishes the Tzilus, which is the very beginning of what we understand is the Tzilus, which is the reisha of the Atek, v'hu Atek Yomim, etc. ad kan, moving on. Okay, let's go on. So after number aleph, just to roll into it, is in Ratzon Lomar, shall pasuk ira bedikna. The pasuk is talking about the dikna shall eretz elyona, which is malchus the Malchus of Adam Kadmon, the Hind of Reish Lo Isyada. Moving on, Cain Kubazor Chaim gives site references in number bet. So number bet says like this: V'agav, so on the way here is Yisrael Bir Yakar L'Chalana Perek Gimel. He's going to bring over this pasuk. Let me see how I can. Okay, let's go on. Asher Bir v'zech l'shana b'tok devarav yisech b'bal ha-sefer. That is the Sifra that's new. Dazeh. Kidach l'tzod is a kan eretz. So he calls the beard eretz. And even we're talking not just like the Risaruk said, that we're talking about somehow the Malchus of Ak. Here we talk about, even we're talking about, okay, we'll take a break here, a little break, and we'll call Rabbi back. Okay, do. Okay, so he says that last phrase was, I feel this phrase that we're talking about, it's Eretz, is really actually talking also about the dikna of Erich Malchut Peah, Eretz lo over ba ish. So what does that mean? So in other words, something called, but I don't know what this last part, it's not something that's far away. Shaharach of a pasuk, because it calls it like this Lashon sounds like something that's growing. He says a rose of perfume. The Haidach of Eretz Amagdelis Samachim. That's a language that everything grows from there. So the grow where what everything grows out of the beard. V'chein bedin, we see that Shahare Hadik that he Bechinas Habina, the beard. So what is this now? He says the dikna is the aspect of the bina, shehi eretz achayim, because it's the land of life. Shuchum mitzamechas motzedesha, so it brings out all the produce out of there. So this is a rich idea. The hainu is pashtos spheros, so that is the spreading out or the development of the spheros. Shehi gan hamagdelis. What is that? What is the he? I'm trying to this beard. What is he talking about? The he, who is the he? Hadikta hu bechinas bina, so bina itself. Shehi eretz achaim, shehi mitzamechas mitzamechas, and brings out produce, or it's fruitful, like that. The kind of his pashtos aspheros. So what's the produce? It's this pashtos. The spheros comes out of bina. Shuchot gan amagdelas anatios, because of what the sprouts grow from there. The holida the chotziam hachutza, to bring them into birth and bring them out and start bringing them out of the rosh. So it's a little different idea. Let's go on to the next part, to another area, and let's see what he says of going on. So we're still really reading, and maybe we're reading in that same paragraph. I'm not sure exactly, but it doesn't look like it. It says, "Achein d'dayim yesh d'ayin v'ibira rizach b'shar mefarshim d'irei kan bedikna d'Erich Malchut Peah." Once again, he says that below bedikna d'reish lo isya. And it's not talking about that. So I was asking myself, those are the Ramaz. He's going to tell me. Al Sifra that's in Yutzakan v'chuhu v'chaditzutzi oros l'chidor, and it's bring in this. I guess he has a sefer called Nitzutzi Oros l'chidor kan Shabir v'zel l'shana, and he's explaining it like this. He says the bedikta haki kesiv lo avor. So that's the idea of Moslem. So this a phrase apparently he must reserve for the Moslem is who is Moshe Zechuto. Linira. So that Maslin, I think that's the Rosh Teves of this word. So Moshe Zakuto Linira, that's what the Maslin is. It looks like it's him. But so Malchus Atik Dimino Digna. So the Malchus of Atik is where the Digna comes from, Adkan. But the Chorakavan also, Ki Lechain Nikbrach Pasak Digna de Erich Malchut Peah. So therefore it's called by that name, the dikna of Erich Malchut Peah b'shem Eretz. So it's called like an Eretz. So he said once again, he's speaking about Dikna de Erich Anpin, which is the Eretz. Now he said, Ki Shorsha Dikna de Erich Anpin. Why does he say that? He says, Hubu Malchus de Atik. Comes from the Al Malchus of Atik. So that is the beard comes from there. Where I was thinking that the beard was the outgrowth of the Muchstimo. It's not exactly the same words. Maybe you could say that's where it starts in some way. But he wants to say, Ki Shoresh HaDikna de Erich Anpin is the Malchus Da'atik. HaNikvat's Eretz. So now we have another phrase says that. What's Eretz? Ki call Malchus Nikvas Eretz Kanoida, because Malchus is always called by that name. Mihu yesh ta'ayim bezecha be'hecha mitzina shadikna de Erich Anpin shorsha b'malchus da'atik. So where do we see that idea? And Rei Baha'aros, he has an Ara coming up here, a number Gimel, which has a little bit of a richus to it, and I thought, as I was looking at it, that it had some rich ideas. Let me see what I could do about getting this visible. So, let's see what we can read. It says, Amlam the Divik Arizal, Yesh Yashiv, Yet Sadiv and Al Derek Maris Rukva, Ramaz, we could use both of them. Because the Ramaz looks like he said, Moshe's the Rebbe, Moshe's the Kuto. Sounds like he's saying like this. Let's see, he says Ramaz, Ba'ofen Acher, in a different way. V'hi Shorish Yud Gimel Tikuni Dikna de Erich Anpin. It's really the root of the 13th Tikuni of Erich Anpin. Who b'peyos. So where do you find this in the peyos? Peyos Arof Shehem Malchus Shall Yud Sfiris the Gugolta de Erich Anpin. So let's go over those phrases. He says, what is this Malchus that we're talking about? It's the place of the Yud Sphere is the Gugolta de Erich Anpin. So there's a Gugolta. So if you took the cap of your head, I guess it would run underneath your, at the bottom of your forehead, all the way around your head there. And corresponding to the bottom of the forehead would be the Peah. The Peah would be right there. So just talking about that would be the bottom part. O Malchus Zucha B'Nikvat's Eretz. So we explained this over in the Eitz Chaim of Adilog. So let's just jump in and say, listen what he said. So this a little, maybe we haven't examined that carefully. But in the skull itself, he says there are 10 spheros, the metzach, and it goes down all the way to includes, let's say, ad va'ad, I guess he means the metzach. V'amlam heim kasidrin keser le'ela, so they're in order. The keser comes at the top, and malchus the top, and malchus is going to be at the bottom. He said, "V'hidecha sfira achrona shehi malchus, who sod peah sheberosh." Now the gematria peah is a gematria 86, which is gematria of Elokim. So he said, "V'hidecha sfira achrona shehi malchus." Is the sod of the peah sheberosh ki b'kol makom peah hi malchus. Just remember that. V'hidecha bereisha de Erich Anpin peah zuz hi Hashem matz. Now read again, and he said, if you took the same, this is Erich Anpin he's talking about. But when you go over, this is like a big thing with me. Just like to understand it, which is matz is I think is gematria 300. So in other words, it spreads out, because his words are v'hidecha bereisha de Erich Anpin peah zos hi Hashem matz. So let's say I read it wrong. So it's Erich Anpin, not Zer Anpin. I thought he said that it was Zer Anpin. It's called matz. But here he says that the first tikkun, that is the peah itself, is called matz. V'heim beis. There are two of them. Echad b'yamin ve'echad b'smol. One's on the right side, one's on the left side. So he said, v'hine, call echad me'elech hashemos. So each one of these names, kolol yud gimel tikuni dikna. Each one of them has within it. Now he's not saying that they are 13. They have within them everything else is coming out. Now this is the malchus. He says this is the malchus of the skull of Erich Anpin. Of a makom sheyesh Elokim b'zer Anpin, in the place where you have an Elokim, it's manifest in Zer Anpin. Erich Anpin mischalof avayik b'matz. You switch it. There you switch it. Now why? That's my question. You're not supposed to ask why. So my question is why? So why would it not be just to say like Havaya? But he says no. Over here, once his words are, he said v'makam sheyesh Elokim b'zer anpin. Over here would be the same place. Would be, I guess, the beginning of his beard would be Elokim. I guess what he's saying. Az be'Erich Anpin, but in Erich Anpin it's chalav Havaya b'matz. So it switches. Ki sof so kol chiluv hudin. So that's what he says is the answer. The reason why we switch it is because we're mismayit it by putting it through this ringer, or it's atbash really, I think, that makes it into matz. Yosha, or what is it? Matz is okay. I'm not sure. I think it is. That is what it is. Yosha Elokim yesh lo yud gimel osis b'moloa. So if you take, here's another idea. If you take the name Elokim and you spell it out in a milui, it comes out that it has 13 letters. So now you have these ideas here. You have this is the Peah. The Peah in Erich Anpin is really manifests itself as matz. And then Kisof Kol Hiluf is din. So because din is Elokim, that's the gematria Peah. So therefore we say that if you look inside of it and break it down, you'll see that there's 13 different letters there. So therefore they're going to be manifest as they go down into 13 tikunim of the dikna hanimshach and masham that pour out of there. Now you already know this, he says. Let me see just 1 second. He says, every time I do the V'chein heim yud gimel tikuni dikna halim shach b'sham b'kuvar yudat. You already know this. Kibetzias adikna kula dinim. Understand that, because in other words, the Peah is the name Elokim. In Erich Anpin, it's also called matz, which are different, is a different manifestation of it. I guess I'm not sure exactly why it needs to come into a different gematria. He said al yado is kafyan dinin de lasata. So in other words, it's a din that has the ability to be able to beat down or humble down the dinim as it moves downwards. Ki ein a din nimtak ala b'shorsho. So in other words, the very beginning of the beard itself, he says, is a contraction, which is the concept of malchus, which is the kind which holds everything, which has 13 letters in the milui, and which is its name, all of these different kind of dinim, he's telling us, at its root. So we understand that this pei is malchus. Malchus hu din, it's also din, v'nikra Elokim, and it's called by the name Elokim. So he says l'chein, so therefore, l'chein ha-malchus shall yud spheres the reisha ilah. So the malchus, which is part, again, when he says the reisha ilah, he's talking about the cranium of so to speak, of Erich Anpin. Shall yud spheres the reisha ilah is an Elokim, the gematria Peah, which is the same gematria Peah. You see, but Adkana, you see all these different names of din, because what he's saying is it's a tremendous light that's up above is getting squeezed down into this one place where it's collected in the malchus of the Eitz Chaim. Now he says the Eitz Chaim lahalon. We're going to see it as we go forward. He says b'sham. He says kasav od v'zel deshona inyan yukamasha kasav ki halo tikun rishon shebediknu hu kale is this word kale v'hu v'malchus. That kale is malchus. But he says upeya bechinas malchus. So okay, all of that idea, we've seen this again, but he's saying it, but he's repeating it in this way. Nimsa shebeis malchus smuchus udevukim zeh b'zeh. Now wait a minute, he says there's two. What happens is, so we know now, we've identified that the pei is a malchus of the cranium. So he says nimsa shebeis malchus smuchim udevukim zeh. But what's the second one? Ki b'makom shemistayim malchus barosh shuchu v'peyas arosh, or maybe pronounce it pasarosh, I'm not sure. Misham Mascheles, that's the same place that begins the Malchus, the Dikna, Shuhu Tikkun Rishon, that the first Tikkun starts with Malchus. So it comes down, ends from the top of the cranium, begins at Malchus, but the first Tikkun is going to be Malchus. That is, Malchus, and then it's going to go to Yesod, and then it's going to go down as you go down to the bottom of the beard. I guess that's what he means. So he's Mikoich Sa'irachos Rosh, on the Sheriff Pas Rosh, so because for the power, the energy that's inside of the hairs of the head, which remain on top of the scalp of the Rosh. Mechem yotzem sa'aros sayud gimel tikuni dikna kanal. That's where they come. In came nimse ki kol yud gimel makilin yonkim. So that we see like this, everything that's going to come later on. All of that is fed off with base payas of the Rosh that comes out of these base payas of codes, which are now going to be the two kales, or going downwards as that is. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here, and let me see if we get organized.